about to change. We're standing at the border where history is made. We're cranking up the lights now so everyone can see. It's all happening right now. We're gonna make you believe it's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy. It's gonna be loud. This is our house. We do what we want. Love the room. Everybody's coming. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. We'll make the whole world hear us. We're about to show you why they fear us. Here comes the battle cry. Oh, 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 oh. Here comes the battle cry. Oh, oh, oh. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy. It's gonna be loud. This is our house. We do what we want. Know the room. Everybody's coming. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy.
Happy Super Bowl weekend, everybody! Yes! This has been a tradition around Crossroads for about 19 years, and it's because our culture is so divided. This is the one holiday all of us get to come together with and say, hey, let's have fun together. And actually, we do believe that God has given us the ability to laugh. It's part of His gifts, and we don't think there's any problem laughing and spiritually growing at the same time, and we think we're gonna get both of those today. So I got to get backstage because I got to get ready to pound Team Mingo into molasses right now. And while I go do that, let's go to our studio hosts wherever you are.
To Crossroads Church, and how are we doing this morning for the Super Bowl? Hey, I'm Joe Jones. This is my co-host, Amanda Orlando from the Jim and Amanda Morning Show.
Thank you so much, Joe. I'm so excited to be here for the most exciting weekend of the year. Although I have to confess, when Matt Castleman asked me, he told me I'd be co-hosting with Joe Jonas from the Jonas Brothers, not Joe Jones.
A little bit disappointing.
At least, can you sing?
Oh, I'm a sucker for you, baby.
Oh, I can work with this. I can work with this.
Come on.
Well, I'm so excited to be here for the Super Bowl of preaching.
Actually, Amanda, I just heard from our attorneys, and they're advising that we not use that in order to avoid getting sued by the NFL.
We can't say Super Bowl?
No,
Oh,
no, we can't.
Oh, well, we don't want to get sued by the NFL, right? You know what? I am super good at sports. I can totally come up with an even better name. I'll work on that.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of folks here are wondering, are we going to see some football today? Are we going to see some awesome preaching today? And some people have no idea what they're going to see today. Can you fill us in on what's going to happen?
Sure. Well, today is going to look a lot like a professional football game, except preaching. In fact, there's not going to be any football at all because we know the athletic ability, or really the lack of ability, of our participants. Today's competition pits Team Tome against Team Mingo, and we've brought together 4 of the best preachers we could find. And it's going to be an amazing competition. Now, before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about our sponsors?
Oh, yes. Today's game is brought to you by Doritos, now in a handy juice box. Gross.
That is disgusting. I'm so glad the scriptwriters gave you that and not me.
Well, they thought you were Joe Jonas.
Well, listen, today's competition is going to be amazing, and we have 2 former NFL players with us, safety Solomon Wilcots and Cincinnati Bengals' own NFL Hall of Famer, Anthony Munoz. They sat down with our referee and the teams. Let's kick it to them to see what they have to say.
Well, thank you, and we're glad to be here. You know, 2020 was a crazy year, and the sports scene was slower than usual, which is why today we find ourselves here. What kind of game do you think we could expect this year?
As a real football player, I don't know what to expect from football preaching.
Yeah, very true. Now, in order to be part of this game, the pastors agreed to live and compete in a bubble.
That's right. The players were required to be quarantined at a crossroads location.
You know, I got inside the bubble, and I caught up with each team before the big game. I also had a chance to sit down with this year's Super Bowl of Preaching referee, Matt Castleman, to hear his perspective on this year's throwdown.
In the Bubble League.
Matt, before we get started, inquiring minds want to know what's going on here. What's up with the dog collar? I mean, you haven't been biting yourself, have you?
No. It's just the only PPE I could find.
Well, are you prepared to call the big game?
You know, not at all. I'll be completely honest. I have no idea what I'm doing. Just keep that between us, because I can't let these guys know I need this gig.
So you have no idea what's going on?
I'll be completely honest with you. Graduated with a BFA in musical theater. I was in Annie twice as the lead role. I opened my own dinner theater called Broadway and Beef. All vegetarian menu, except for the beef. We did Cats the Musical. I was the lead role in that, alongside trained kittens. And we did Hamilton, the world's first production of Hamilton with live pigs. And New York Times actually said, "Oh no!"
Do you have any idea how the game even works? The rules of the game?
Saluminium, of course I do. I brought my script, actually. So let me just pull open the rules of the game. Oh, sorry about that. Headshots, never be too prepared. Would you like one?
No, just the rules.
Sign it for you here in a moment. Let's see here. The Phantom of the Opera for men, Defying Gravity for tenors. Ha-ha! Rules of the game. Now, what is my motivation?
No motivation, just give us the rules. That's all.
Got it. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Oh my. Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Each team will preach 2 7-minute quarters. Each team must use 1 Bible reference. In each quarter, each team will be given 1 random phrase that they must work into their message. The referee has complete jurisdiction over whether or not the player has met the criteria and will award points accordingly. Points will be distributed as thus: compelling message, 6 points; random phrase, 3 points; extra point, 1 point. But alas, penalty, negative 3 points. And scene.
Well, I'm joined now by preaching veteran and founder of Undivided, a man of the people. In fact, he's the people's pastor, Chuck Mingo. And also joining him on Team Mingo is teaching pastor and writer and despiser of small talk, Allie Patterson. All right, well, Chuck, you've been spending quite some time in the bubble. Are you ready for the big game?
I'm more ready than ever. Like, relaxed even.
Solomon, I mean, I've got 4 kids. Chuck has 3 kids. 6 months away from the daily grind of family. I mean, I miss my babies, but this is like a vacation.
You guys seem perfectly in sync in your training this year.
Hey, you know what? It's all about teamwork, and this team works.
So, what is the game plan this year for Team Mingo?
To win. We're about to preach people out of their seats. Can I get an amen, somebody?
I mean, amen. Listen, we know these guys.
That's right.
We know Tome. I'm going to tell you what he's going to do right now. I know this guy's trick. He's going to make fun of me for throwing like a girl. I've heard it all before, and I am not afraid to play them tough.
Take a look at this. A lot of trash talking going on there with Brian Tome.
Full-blown, 100% virile men. Those guys don't have any testosterone. Allie, she certainly doesn't. Chuck, we know. I mean, it's going to be old, smash.
It's cute, actually.
That's really cute. Using his words.
Well, I'm joined now by Team Tome, led by senior pastor, author, and Aggressive Life podcast host, Brian Tome. And, of course, his teammate, teaching pastor, carpenter, and former Yellow Pages employee Kyle Ransom. We have some footage that seems to suggest that you guys are having some chemistry issues.
Really? Yeah. I don't see it that way.
Get a look at that.
Do you have any toilet paper I could borrow?
I don't have any toilet paper. Sorry. The best defense is an offense, and we are going to be offensive. Incredibly offensive. And we don't care who gets in our way. It's going down, and they're going down.
We go together. We are like a fist and a
Drywall.
We're like peanut butter and
Doritos.
we're like oil and
Water.
exactly like that, Solomon. Together.
Oil and water doesn't connect.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a good metaphor.
Okay, that's going to do it from here. It's almost time for kickoff. Let's send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Solomon and Anthony. Great insights. Okay, so we can't call it the Super Bowl.
Well, thank you, Solomon. Anthony, those are fantastic insights.
Absolutely.
I do want to say a shout out to our students who are here today. I know they got their bingo cards and they're ready to play along.
Bingo.
And as you can see, Matt Castleman, our own campus.
I'm not sure why they chose the thespian of our community to be the referee, but I'm sure he's going to be good. I'm sure he's going to be good.
Well, let's just hope so. But as promised, I did work on some names for the big game, since we can't use Super Bowl, right?
Amanda, you just said it again. I think she's trying to get us sued.
I promise
give
I'm
us
not,
some
I'm
names.
not.
Give us some names.
Okay, but I got some great things here. How about the World Series of Preaching?
That's just as bad.
No?
God,
The
no.
Stanley Cup of Preaching?
That's no better.
How about the Superb Bowels of Preaching?
The Superb Bowels. I don't even want to know what would happen on the field with that name. Come on.
Oh, well,
those names are going to get us sued, all of them. Give us something better.
Okay. I don't know what you want. I don't know, sports, church, preach, ball?
That actually has a bit of a ring to it. Let me check real quick. Guys, what are we thinking about that name? Yeah. That's a thumbs up. We're going to go with that one.
Oh, all right. Welcome, everybody, to Sports, Church, Preach, Ball, brought to you by our attorneys.
NFL, please don't sue us. So the competition's about to start, but before we get going, we're going to send it down to our commentators for today, our Oakley community pastor, Greg McElfresh, who is also a West Side defector, and our online host, Hannah Shepard. To you guys.
Well, hey, good morning, everybody. Greg here alongside my partner in crime for today, Hannah. Are you ready for the big game?
Come on, I know we can do a little bit
It's a little
better
early,
than
Hannah.
that. I know, but let's hear it. Are we ready for the big game? That's right, man.
There
you know
they
what?
are.
The players are ready. We're ready. They are itching to play this year. You know what? How about that name change? Sports Church Preach Ball.
It's weird. You know, it's certainly no worse than the Washington football team. So,
Okay, I'll give
a
you
little
that.
bit of housekeeping to take care of. If you're at home, we're so glad that you're streaming with us. We hope that you're enjoying your living room mask-free. As for those of us in rooms, however, we're asking that you wear your mask the entire service. The person in front of you and behind you certainly appreciates it. So, Hannah, what do you say with that? We go down to the field for today's starting lineups.
Let's do it.
The home team. Introducing a pulpit-pounding pastor from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's master of the motorcycle, the man preaching the way to an aggressive life. Alongside Tone, we have that slayer of the sermon. He's a mover, a shaker, a table maker. The team, the myth, the legend, Team Tone!
Gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna spend a lot of money on my brand new guitar.
Your visiting team. Introducing the freshest prince from Philadelphia, the destroyer of division, the unicorn of unity. Alongside Mingo, we have an unapologetic truth teller, serving up ironclad theology with a side of side-eye. More popular than TP in a pandemic, let's hear it for Team Mingo!
Lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action. You turn it up, say. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You turn it up, say. Oh yeah. We ain't going nowhere, nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. Turn it up, say. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Turn it up, say. Oh yeah. We ain't going nowhere, nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. Take it out.
The crowd favorite.
Yes.
They survived the bubble. Hannah, you think we can stand one more rule?
I think we can. Tell me, what
All
is
right,
it?
one more rule. All 4 preachers have to incorporate what they believe was Jesus' best preaching move. Some really weird exercises going on down on the turf.
right
A little
now.
disturbing.
Yes.
Hey, why don't we send it down for the ref for the coin toss?
Toss. I want a good, clean game. Brian Tome, as senior citizen, pastor, you'll call the coin in the air.
Heads be rolling out for each.
It is heads.
Yes.
Would you like to kick or receive the Bible?
We will receive.
Tome to receive the Bible. Hannah, is that a chocolate coin?
I think it is. Ladies and gentlemen, today's coin toss is brought to you by Hershey's.
Perfect. All right, Patterson to hold, Mingo to kick. Here we go, folks. Oh!
I got it.
He recovers the football. I'm not sure what happens here, and I don't know Castleman knows either.
All right, Cal.
Very good. I got this.
All right, come on. It's our time. It's your time, Kyle. It's your time. It's our house.
A random phrase. We want to remind you, these phrases have never been seen by any of our preachers.
Please choose your random phrase. Your random phrase is, it's like dancing with a drunken polar bear, and here's why.
Wow. Sounds like a random paragraph.
Okay, yeah. You remember that. Okay, here's a question for you. Who is the winningest coach of all time? You might say, oh, Vince Lombardi, old school, he's amazing. Oh, Bill Belichick, he's incredible, he's the best of all time. Maybe you go college, Nick Saban. Or,
Ooh, that's
my
weird.
false Saban. I'm sorry, Nick. I do wonder how you win all those games, though, Nick. You made a deal with somebody, it seems like. I don't know. We'll see. Now, listen, the greatest coach of all time is Jesus. He is. See, he has billions of wins over thousands of years, and he's still winning today. Today, he's defeating depression. Today, he's winning against apathy and division and hatred and everything else. He's racking up win after win after win. He's the greatest head coach of all time. Here's what Ephesians 1 says. It says, and God placed all things under his feet and appointed him, that's Jesus, to be head, like the head coach, over everything for the church, which is his body, the fullness of him who fills everything in every single way. Now, today, you're going to hear each of us tell you what we think was Jesus' greatest coaching move of all time. From the beginning, I want you to know what me and Brian have to say is going to be better, more helpful, more godly. It's a time to take notes. It's when we're up here just telling you. Sorry, Chuck. They like you a lot, apparently. Jeez. We got our work cut out, tell them. We're going to do this. It's going to be fine. Listen, our hope, though, is that each of you get what you need, the coaching tip you need to move your life forward, to experience the movement that you've been missing in your life. And so what was Jesus' greatest coaching move? What do I think it was? I think it's that Jesus focused on team first. He did from the very beginning. This is all the rage in the NFL right now. You know, team building, how do you do it? What are the key components? Well, long before the NFL was on this trend, Jesus was all over it. Everything he did was exclusively in team. Think about this for a minute. He chose to be born into a team, into a family. He could have come as God however he wanted to. He could have come as Patrick Mahomes if he wanted to. He might have, actually. I'm not sure that he's not, but I'm just saying. Before he started his career doing healing and teaching and ministry stuff, he had another career as a carpenter, chosen profession, in which he showed up every day to a job site as part of a work team. And when he did start teaching and healing people, the first thing he did was build a team. Picked 12 guys out, the 12 disciples, and he expanded that team again and again and again. Everything was team. Why? Let me think. Of all the people who we would have been like, they showed up on earth and they were like, you know what? I'm going to do life as a solo sport. We'd be like, that makes sense, Jesus. You're God. We totally get it. We're not offended, right? But he didn't. He made a team. And here's why. I think he did this to help you and I defeat what may be our greatest enemy we face in life. The lie that we are and always will be alone. You know, all of us think this, all of us feel it. We've all felt it. I've felt it. Your neighbors felt it. Your bosses felt it. It's not about having friends or not having friends. You can have the best friends in the world, but you can still feel alone. It's not about being married or single. You can wake up in bed next to somebody and still functionally be alone in your life. It's not about, even get this, showing up in a church, sitting in a seat, or watching online. It's not. You can do all those things and still feel alone. How is that possible? Well, it's because in the game of life, there's actually an opposing sideline with another coach in the field who's shouting directions at us, trying to get us to not listen to Jesus, but listen to him instead. You can call him whatever you want to. For the sake of this conversation, we'll just call him the voice of alone. And he's shouting at us. We've all heard him. For me, one of the times I heard him maybe most loudly in my entire life, I think that's not a stretch to say, was in 9th grade. We lived in this little town outside Dayton, Ohio, and we moved to Philadelphia, big city. Started at a brand new school, so I was a new kid. But it was a teeny tiny school, and so kind of cool. I got to become the soccer star. I started on JV and varsity. It was amazing. You can check out my highlights on YouTube. You might want to look at them. They're just
flag on the play.
What?
Holding on to the past.
No.
High school was like 20 years ago. Move on.
No.
Apparently, examples have expiration dates, Hannah. You got to be careful of that.
No. Unbelievable. By the way, if you ever want to go dancing, I recommend you go with this guy. It's like dancing with a drunken polar bear, and here's why. He's so fun and cuddly. You just get to have so much fun dancing. It's even kind of fuzzy. So great.
I think that was an attempt at the random phrase, but it took a weird turn, didn't it?
We'll see what the ref says.
We'll see if they give it to him. Crowd likes it.
Audience approval here.
There we go. Okay. Listen, here's the problem though. Playing JV and varsity, the thing is I got shin splints. And so whenever I ran, I would limp. And about the time that this happened, my parents realized that school was crap. So they took me out of it. And by crap, I mean like I had a Spanish teacher who didn't speak any Spanish. It's kind of a problem, right? It was awful. So they took me out, put me in this new school. And on this new school, I immediately joined the soccer team, thought that's where I'd find friends. And my first practice, first drill, I go down, take a shot on goal, go back to the line, and I limp as I run back. And as I'm approaching them, I hear my entire team laughing at me. What's wrong with the new kid? Why does he limp? And you might be like, Kyle, why don't you just tell him? Why don't you just tell him about the shin splint? You had a legit injury. Well, I didn't tell him for the same reason that you don't tell people about your weaknesses either, because you're afraid if you do, you'll end up alone. Is that true? Is that our destiny? The good news answer today is no. See, the good news isn't just that Jesus focused on team first. It's that he's building a team and he's inviting you to belong to it. He is, no matter who you are, what you've done, where you've been, doesn't matter. He wants you to be part of this team. John 1:12 says, "Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God." Just means if you want on the team, you're on the team. He's got an offer letter coming your way. All you have to do is say yes. And when you do, you get forgiveness and then immediate direction. You get gifts called out that you didn't even know were in you. You get purpose for your life. He said this about his church. He said, "I will build my church, and all the powers of hell will not conquer it." That means when you're on this team, all the powers of hell will not conquer you. In your life, addiction won't win. Rejection won't win. Apathy won't win. Loneliness won't win. It's amazing. Because get this, even if you get injured, even if you start to limp when you run, you have a team to pick you up and carry you forward to victory. It's the greatest team in the history of the world, and you are invited to be part of it. Let me just say, by the way, if you're somebody who says, "I follow Jesus, Kyle. I show up to church every week. I sit in a seat every week. I watch online every week, and I still feel alone." Let me just gently push on you for a second. There's a big difference, see, between sitting on the sidelines and getting in the game, being part of the team, where you are known, where you are loved, where you're accepted, where you are challenged, where you have a place. And I'll just say on behalf of all of our community pastors, we would love nothing more than to help you join this team. It's quite literally our jobs. In fact, your community pastor asked me to do this. This is their email address right here, actual email address, not a robot, not a junk mail. They would love for you to just send them an email. Just say, something I heard Kyle talk about this stuff. I'm interested. What does that mean? How do I do it? And they will take it from there. They would love to care for you. It'd be an incredible, incredible honor. Do not do life alone anymore. It's time for you to join the team. The greatest coaching move Jesus ever made is focusing on team first and inviting you and me to be a part of it.
That's a quarter.
That's it.
Touchdown, Team Tome!
That's a good word, Kyle. That's a good word, Kyle.
Kyle, you are awarded 6 points for an excellent message, plus 3 points for the use of random phrase and that awkward, non-COVID friendly dance move. The extra bonus Bible trivia, thank you. Hang on to that for later. Your extra bonus point is, King David was a shepherd before he was a king. Besides football, what sport did Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes play in college? That is correct! Boom!
Didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah! Come on.
Extra point gives Team Tome 7, Team Mingo 0. That's the end of the first quarter.
All right, there you have it, Hannah.
We only got 7
Uh-oh, we're
points.
seeing some pushback on the field here.
You know, Castleman's strong suit is not math, in
It's
case
not.
you haven't
It's
figured
not.
this out yet.
But I got the 3-point thing,
Right,
and I
so
got
that
the extra
offset.
point.
Listen, I'm a theater major. Math isn't my strongest suit.
All right, 7-5. We'll live with 7.
Whatever.
Seems like the score has been accepted.
They'll
you
take
know?
the 7. What'd you see the first quarter?
You know, strong intro by Team Tome. No shock that they came out of the gate with trash talk, aggressive. I'm excited to see what they bring.
What'd you think about the whole Nick Satan comment?
Very strange. I was thinking that maybe he was going to come back with some exorcism also in the talk.
He never
Didn't
did.
happen. All
He
good.
never did. All right, well, folks, we know you don't come for the preaching. What do you say we head to our first commercial break?
Life's an adventure, and adventure's about the journey. You need gear when you're on the go, or when it's time to go. Introducing Camel Crack, a mobile bidet from Camelback. We'll keep you out of the mud and keep the mud out of your butt. Camel Crack's patented 2-hose bidet system cleanses out all your peaks and valleys. 1 hose for drinking, 1 for unstinking. Make sure you only use hose 2 for number 2.
Oi. Wait a sec. You guys realize that mobile bidets are a real thing, right? Yeah, they give it to you in hospital, you know, after you give birth. Nice job on the product parody, you drongos.
Camel Crack Mobile Bidet. Maybe it's a real thing.
Guys are so dumb.
Today we're doing something a little different for our older viewers.
Yeah. First of all, you know we love you.
We love you.
You basically like invented craft beer.
You brought back vinyl. That
That
was
was
huge.
huge.
That
That
was
was
so
so big,
big.
yeah.
But millennials, your time is over.
You're old now.
Yep. Remember when you got mad at your parents for being on Facebook?
Maybe Facebook is more your speed now. And you know, hashtag adulting,
Right, right.
You're actually just an adult.
You're just an adult. Big difference. You invented the hashtag. That was great. But it's getting old now too.
Yeah, you're kind of holding us back. And we got big plans, you know, and they don't include true crime podcasts.
Rewatching old episodes of The Office again.
It didn't change.
It's the same.
All right, let our generation do our thing.
And please leave TikTok alone. This message brought to you by PSA, You're Not 22 Anymore, a Gen Z initiative.
We're not gonna get old like that, right?
No, us, no.
Yeah,
no.
All right, we got a couple more sponsorships for you. First one from the makers of Impossible Burgers comes Impossible Broccoli, the same broccoli flavor you know and love, this time with 100% certified USDA ground beef.
Absolutely. If you need something to wash that down with, new from Bud Light, a new line of soft seltzers. It's exactly LaCroix.
Yeah, right. All right, hey, let's send it down to Castleman for the start of the second quarter.
Team Mingo, you'll possess the Bible the second quarter. Chuck, please choose your random phrase.
This one.
Your random phrase is, and that's why dogs are inherently better than cats.
All right, we'll see what he does here.
Well, I do just have to pause for a moment and say our esteemed competitors forgot to pray before they started to preach. So I'm going to do that for us now. I'm going to do that for us now. Although I have to say I feel a little intimidated doing that because this guy in the front row has a Michigan outfit on, and so you know how to pray at football games. I feel like you should be praying in my place, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Shade thrown from the stage.
He is throwing punches out the gate.
Early in the quarter.
Is he going to pray?
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I love you, though. I love you. And I will pray. Let's pray. God, thank you.
Equal opportunity offenders.
Equal opportunity offenders. That's right. God, thank you for laughter. Thank you for this moment. And Jesus, I do believe that in the midst of all this laughter, you are speaking and communicating. Continue to do that, to use us to do that. In Jesus' name, amen. So I have to say, Kyle was right. Jesus is fielding a winning team, and you're invited to be on it. And the beautiful thing is, it isn't just about him giving you a jersey. He knows your name. Jesus knows your name. I think one of Jesus' best coaching moves is that he gets personal. How many people are rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs today to win this big thing? Well, I have to say, I admire their coach, Andy Reid, a whole lot. He used to coach my Philadelphia Eagles, and one of the things that makes him a great coach is his ability to personally connect with all kinds of players. There are players that aren't on the Chiefs, but played for him in other teams that are making it their business to be there today, to celebrate him, and hopefully see him get a second ring. And Jesus is that kind of coach. He gets personal. In fact, the time when I actually had a powerful personal experience with Jesus, believe it or not, had something to do with these. With bubbles. Believe it or not, it had to do with bubbles. What does that have to do with connecting with Jesus? Well, I'm going to tell you that in a moment. One of the things...
Challenge flag on the play.
You dropped your flag, sir.
It's called a challenge flag. He's freaking blowing COVID bubbles all over everybody. No, we're a global pandemic. Can't be blowing germs all over everybody.
All right. The challenge on the field is blowing COVID bubbles. I want to poll the audience. Front row, were you offended by his blowing of bubbles?
No.
I'm seeing a bunch of no's.
None offense
A bunch of
taken.
no's.
Were you offended by it?
Oh, Michigan with 2 thumbs down. Comes back to bite him.
Michigan jersey was deeply offended by it.
Okay.
We're gonna uphold the point. 1 point penalty will be assessed.
Oh, man.
Came back to bite him, Hannah.
Yes, it did.
Well, at least a Michigan fan got to win something this football season, so I'm okay with that.
It just keeps going.
It just keeps coming.
I have to say, that man is not a plant. He's like a first-time visitor here today.
He's not a first-time visitor. It's your first time? Oh, God.
This is a real
People really think we rehearse this stuff.
I know.
We do not.
I know.
No,
We're just having fun. I'm Chuck, by the way. I am so glad you're here. I'm telling you, I'm really glad you're here. I really am.
Nice try.
Oh, man. So this moment for me that has to do with bubbles and hearing Jesus get personal with me happened in a silent retreat. It was something that I do every year. And I got to tell you, when I did this, I had been in ministry for 10 years, and I was stuck. I was really struggling with what's next, what's going on. There were a lot of tension points in my life. And I went away to this place, and I'm walking in the woods, and the woods was kind of the place where I was able to just let it all out, all the frustration, all the uncertainty. So I'm literally in the woods. I'm crying. I'm yelling at the top of my lungs. I'm picking up tree branches, and I'm just hitting them against the tree. I'm just like, God, do you see me, Jesus? Do you see me? Do you know what's going on? I did not feel seen in that moment. It didn't feel like there was a personal relationship. And I have to tell you, Jesus met me personally in that experience in a powerful way. It actually didn't happen that day, but the next day, one of the things that happened was I was actually reading about this story in the Bible where followers of Jesus felt the same way. It's called the Road to Emmaus, and it shows up in Luke 24. And these are 2 followers of Jesus who were having a 7-mile walk from Jerusalem where they had watched Jesus die. And they were struggling and they were wrestling because they thought he was the rescuer. They thought he was going to overthrow Rome, that he was going to be the one to bring them to a better place. But he died, crucified on a cross. And as they're walking to Emmaus, they had been hearing these rumors that the grave was empty, that he had risen again, but they didn't believe it. They weren't seeing it. It wasn't happening personally for them. And the Bible says that Jesus met them on that road. They didn't know it was him at first. And as they're walking and expressing their frustrations to Jesus, Jesus is communicating to them the story of what was to happen. Jesus is reminding them in the scriptures, it said that the rescuer had to die, that he had to not just pay the price for your sins, but for the sins of the whole world. And he's walking them through this. And then at the end of the day, when they're walking with Jesus, they sit down. And it says that at the moment Jesus broke bread with them, their eyes were open and they realized it was Jesus. Jesus got personal with them at a moment of doubt in their life. And he did the same thing with me on this retreat. After that day of being frustrated and upset, the next morning I get up and I'd forgotten where I was, and it was like I'm going to the bathroom and I literally run into a wall. I'm like, run into a wall. And I laughed in that moment, and I lie to you not. I heard Jesus laugh in that moment. And why would we think that if we hear an audible sound from Jesus, it's going to be a voice of condemnation or a voice of judgment? It has to be that. No, if he's the most joyful being in the universe, wouldn't it make sense that he overflows with laughter? It was such a powerful moment for me, and it completely changed my trajectory. Two other things that happened that day. That same day was this. One of the things I never do at this retreat is talk to people. I don't talk to people because it's a silent retreat. But there were these two men, and for whatever reason, I just felt like I was supposed to connect with them. And there's a place where you can, and we finally had a chance to connect. And it turns out those two men had words that were so pivotal to what God was doing literally for the next decade of my life, the decade I'm walking out now. Those are seeds that were planted way back in 2016 in talking to those two men. And one of the things that I did is I went to a prayer shack. And people will write their prayers on this little shack, and it's just a place for you to pray. And one of the statements that stood out to me just simply said, the Eucharist, without it, life is but bubbles. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to make of that? And I wrote it down because it just struck me. The Eucharist is this idea that you may know as the Lord's Supper or communion. It's this thing that followers of Jesus do to remember Jesus was physically present in this world, and he died for us so that through his resurrection, he can now be present with us even in our doubt. And for me, it was a powerful moment. And wouldn't you know it, later that day, another retreatant who knew nothing about that prayer shack, who knew nothing about what I was praying and wrestling through, literally comes up to me and gives me a bottle of bubbles. It was just a moment for me where I recognized Jesus gets personal. He knows you. He knows where you are. He knows your wrestling, your doubt, and he wants to meet you there like a faithful friend. And that's why dogs are far better than cats, because they're the kind of faithful friends that are with
like
us
pro,
in moments where we need them.
Nails the random phrase.
That was good. But listen, Jesus says this in Revelation 3:20. I love this. He says, if anyone will come, he says, I will stand at the door and knock. I just want you to know, no matter what you're going through, Jesus is knocking. He's knocking. He hasn't forgotten you. He wants to get personal with you. And he says, and if you'll let me in, I'll break bread with you. He will meet you where you are. Let him coach you up. Jesus is the kind of coach that gets personal. He's knocking because he wants to coach you up in the place of doubt and give you faith. He's knocking because he wants to coach you up in the place of fear and give you hope. He's knocking because he wants to coach you up in the place where you feel weak, and he wants to be your strength. And if you will let him in, he will break bread with you, and you will see that Jesus is the kind of coach that will get personal with you.
That's a half.
Touchdown, Team Mingo!
Touchdown, Mingo!
Chuck, you were awarded 6 points for a great message. However, there was the 1 point penalty for COVID bubble. You can thank Michigan for that.
Okay.
And you did get your random phrase with 8 points total. Your extra Bible trivia question point is, King Solomon is referred to as the wisest man to ever live, who helped God's people prosper in numerous ways. Question, where exactly was Solomon's temple located?
In Jerusalem.
That is an acceptable answer. Also on the side of his head would have worked as well. Resulting in an end of half score. Right. Team Mingo 9, Team Tome 7. It's time for intermission.
Nice, strong.
Intermission. Interesting first half, Hannah. Any observations from you?
You know what? Not shocked to see that the people were loving Chuck, but except the Michigan guy, not a fan. That's all right. It was a strong quarter. You love to see it.
That's true. Hey, we got a halftime show coming up, but first, another commercial break.
Seriously, Troy. Just last week, I traded Corey's mom a dose of Xanax for a 12-pack of toilet paper in the alley behind Target.
Just be firm and tell them, I can still see you picking your boogers with your mask on. Today, I want to teach you survival skills on pandemic parenting, like sanitation, security,
Honey, have you seen my pants?
negotiation.
If you put on pants for math, I'll pretend we're having Wi-Fi issues for social studies.
Okay. Delegation.
Well, Eric, people don't like it when we call our marketing viral anymore. You have to fix it. And do it by the 9th.
Networking.
Take me with you.
Creating alliances.
We're not bad at parenting. They're bad at childing.
Hey! I'm a mom just like you. This is my masterclass. And I have no idea what I'm doing.
Now to the COVID crisis. New analysis about
Last year, the world closed. We did not. We collected food, blessed teachers, wiped out medical debt, supported hospital staff, gave away cars, sewed masks, sponsored children, helped kids celebrate Christmas, tutored kids in India, fed the needy in South Africa, restored water access in Nicaragua, helped rebuild in Puerto Rico, and more. The world changed, our mission did not. God calls, Crossroads responds. We go and change the world. Join us, crossroads.net/go.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I loved hearing the applause at that ad for Go. Crossroads, we go. And something that we're hearing right now in our community is how our healthcare professionals are just feeling really, really beat down. And that's not acceptable to us. So we're launching today what we're calling Fuel for the Fight. We want to come alongside our healthcare workers with notes of encouragement, things that just help them get through their day. And we want you to engage with us. So we invite you to visit crossroads.net/go to learn about it and get in the game.
Now it's time for the halftime show. Weekends around Crossroads don't normally look like a half-baked football parody. But every weekend, Crossroads is here to inspire you and connect you to God in a way that helps your life become better and the most fulfilling. And we do that often with the music of our Crossroads band. So let's get to it.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. Oh, it's been a long time coming, and I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will.
Imagine a God that isn't just a prophet, a teacher, or a nice idea.
Imagine a God that made his church to be the hope of the world.
Imagine a God that is more powerful
Than anything that feels too broken to mend.
Our past,
our futures,
our marriages,
our jobs,
our whatevers.
Imagine a God that believes no one is too far gone
to have a relationship with him.
Imagine a God that wants a life of adventure for you.
Through Jesus.
You don't just have to imagine.
baby. I look around and the city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can't see clearly when you're gone. And I say, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I say, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch.
I believe that God wanted more from me and my life than the addiction that was consuming me. God has redeemed me, He has freed me, He has made me whole through recovery and an amazing community.
I believe in a time of isolation and evil and darkness, that God is much bigger than that, and He's using me in my circle of influence to bring light into dark places.
I believe anything is possible with God. I watched Him redeem my marriage that was beyond broken. We were both lost and in the dark, and God brought us to light.
As a kid, church always felt like a set of rules to me that I had to follow but could never actually succeed with. But after saying no to religion and yes to God, I realized He is full of forgiveness when I fail and that He will never give up on me.
Jesus, Jesus, how we love to sing. Jesus, Jesus, the King above all kings. Jesus, Jesus, there's power when we say Jesus, there's something about that name. You guys stand up with us, come on. Jesus, Jesus, how we love to sing. Jesus, Jesus, King above all kings. Jesus, Jesus, there's power when we say Jesus, there's something about that name.
I believe that even in the middle of the pain that my wife and I are experiencing, God has really good plans for our future family. 2020 was really hard and we lost 2 kids, but I know that He has good things for us in this coming year.
I believe God wants to redeem a regret from my youth, and He's doing so in the life I have now.
I believe God helped me overcome overwhelming anxiety and showed me how to trust Him even during uncertainty. And I figured I can cast my cares on Him as many times as it takes, and I would often do that, and He kept my cares, my anxiety.
I spent years believing God had left me after a series of poor life decisions. After I hit what I felt like was rock bottom, He showed me that I am fully loved and known as I am, and that He has a plan and a purpose for me that is far greater than I could ever imagine for myself.
Jesus,
Hey, we have one more half of competition to go, but before we do, our community pastor, Matt Castleman, has a special message for us.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. My name is Matt Castleman. I'm the community pastor at Crossroads Westside, a.k.a. The Ref at the big game. I wish I was there. I'm bummed. I hope you're having a great time so far. I know our Westside team is taking great care of you. Hey, real quick, if you're new, I just wanted you to hear this, that even though today two teams are going head-to-head, at Crossroads, we operate as one big team running after a massive vision that God has called us to. And one of the ways that we're able to accomplish that is when we're generous. We have some amazing, generous people on our team. If you're new, I hope you receive today as a gift. And if you're on the team, we have a chance to fuel the mission God's called us to by giving. You can do that at crossroads.net/give. God will use it not only to change your life, but to change our neighborhoods and to change the world. While we do that, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Play ball.
You cannot reach back into that bowl.
Ew.
Don't worry, guys.
It's not the chips I'm worried about.
These are the new Germ-X Doritos. Great flavor and kills 99.9% of germs.
So they're covered in disinfectant?
Yeah. It's like I just washed my hands. Better, even.
It's not.
New Germ-X Doritos. Blech!
If you or a loved one have consumed Germ-X Doritos, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Also, what the crap were you thinking? If you ate Germ-X Doritos and have experienced any of these symptoms, tummy hurts, internal slippage, gut deforestation, euphoric misery, excessive logjam, fatalistic nihilism, nihilistic fatalism, everything tastes like ham, trouser grease, belly don't work right, sense of entitlement, cheese squints, apocalyptic vision. Number 2's white as the driven snow. Play stupid games, win huge cash settlements. Call 800 Frito-Pays now. Brothers-in-law.
All right, well, a couple more sponsorships for you. First, from Tesla, a self-driving baby stroller.
Yes, and I hear that they almost got the kinks worked out. Almost.
All right, and last one, from the makers of Wrangler jeans come Stranglers. Help you sing a whole octave higher.
Yes. And before we keep singing, let's head back down to the field for our second half.
Come on, Allie, we got this. Team Mingo, you maintain possession of the Bible for the third quarter. Allie, please choose your random phrase. Your random phrase is, if any more actors from Seinfeld die, I'm gonna lose it.
Pretty random.
And I'm sorry, but you have been selected for a random COVID screening. Would you like the accurate 2-day test or the rapid test results?
Let's be accurate.
Very good. This is going to tickle just a bit.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
all right. What's the rapid test?
Oh, the rapid? I just flip a coin.
My kind of COVID test. Let's do that.
You're good.
Okay.
I don't think that's a thing.
It's not accurate.
Not a thing.
Great. Well, Chuck talked about Jesus getting personal, and I love that coaching move because I believe that that's exactly what sets Jesus up for his best one. Jesus' best coaching move is to push you to more. If you are here today and you would say, yeah, I'm somebody who would like more of the life that God could have for me, then you need to let Jesus push you because great coaches push. Right? If you've been coached, you know that. You know that you had a coach who saw something in you. Great coaches know their players. As a matter of fact, they probably see capacity and talent that the players themselves haven't even uncovered yet. And a great coach always wants to get that player to more. And they know exactly how to do it because the player would rather stay in his or her comfort zone. That's where we all tend to like to stay, but a great coach will not allow that. It's their job to push through that comfort zone at just the right moment, in just the right way, at a unique and personal time for that player to get to more. Jesus is this kind of coach. Jesus is the kind of coach who will push you to more if you will let him, because he made you and he sees who you are. He probably knows us better than we will ever know ourselves. And I believe right here, right now, today, that Jesus wants more for you and I than we can even imagine for our lives today. I think some of us walked in here and came to this weekend in our lives, and we are at the edge of our comfort zone. We know there's something in front of us that would make us stronger, that could grow us in some way, but we just can't quite get ourselves to step into it, right? It's the beginning of something, it's the end of something, it's a challenge, it's a training, whatever it is, we just can't quite get ourselves to move in that direction. This is the moment that you need a coach. This is the time that a coach is exactly what your life needs, and Jesus is the one who can take you to it because he knows you. And he knows the coaching move that will push you through the comfort zone in your life to something greater. He did this one day for a woman who came to see him in a crowd. She wanted something. She actually had a pretty serious problem. She had been bleeding for 12 years. And she believed that Jesus was the one who could help her. And now, guys, I'm sorry. I know that it's Super Bowl weekend. It's kind of like your guy weekend, and it's all good. But this story is about a woman who was bleeding in a way that only women bleed, like a monthly cycle. That's what was going on here for 12 years. Go ahead and say it. Ew, ew, ew. But listen, half the world deals with this.
I'm nervous
all
about
the
this
time.
one, Hannah.
Emotional encroachment. Talking about bleeding
What?
in church. This is a football game, not a Tampax commercial. 3-point penalty will be assessed.
Wow.
Wait. No.
Challenge
Yeah,
flag.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. He
What's the
better say
challenge?
what I think
I
he's gonna say.
completely disagree with that call
Thank
and
you.
demand a booth review. We don't
Booth
buy that.
review.
I have no idea what a booth review is. So I'll figure it out and keep teaching and we'll talk about it later. Okay.
As if 12 years of that wasn't bad enough, according to Jewish law, this bleeding would have made her unclean, which means she couldn't live a normal life. She couldn't be a normal part of community. She couldn't worship regularly with her family or the rest of her community. She would have been pushed to the edges of every part of normal life. So picture it. Here she comes through a crowd she's not supposed to be around. And she's doing like an army crawl, toward the bottom of the crowd, trying to get close enough to Jesus because she wanted to touch him, the thing she wasn't supposed to do. So she's coming up through the crowd and she reaches out, and listen to how Luke chapter 8 describes what happened. She came up behind him and she touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped. "Who touched me?" Jesus asked. When they all denied it, Peter said, "Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you." But Jesus said, "Someone touched me. I know that power has gone out from me." Then the woman, seeing that she could not go unnoticed, she came trembling and fell at his feet. Now, I stopped right here in this story. I've read this several times in the past, and I stopped right here a few months ago, and I actually said out loud to Jesus while I was reading it, "Why you gotta be so mean? Why did you have to force her up in front of all those people? Why make her so uncomfortable? She was already healed. She already got what she came for." And I read the story again, and I read the story again, and I realized, wait a second, this isn't mean. This is Coach Jesus on the field. This is Jesus pushing. He's pushing her for something she doesn't even see yet, something she's given up hope on, something she doesn't even want for herself anymore. Listen to how the story ends. In the presence of all the people, she told why she had healed him and how she had been instantly healed. Then he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace." Jesus forced her up in front of the people that had forced her out. He needed them to know what happened because he didn't want just the physical healing. He wanted all the healing. He wanted the communal healing, the relational healing, the emotional healing, the spiritual healing. He wanted all of it for her. And she had totally given up on it. All she wanted was the pain to stop. All she wanted was the physical, private, personal thing that she came for. And he said, no, no, no. There is so much more for you, and I want it all. I want every bit of it. Where have you given up? Where do you think that moving through discomfort, pain, difficulty, where do you not want to push because you're just not sure? Guys, we are so afraid. We are so afraid to go into those places because we don't know what's going to come out the other side. We've given up on what we think could be. And Jesus hasn't. He has not given up on whatever the thing is that you can't even imagine for your life anymore. You're not willing to push in to see. Jesus wants to take you through your comfort zone to get to that place because he wants more for you, like great coaches always do. The Atlanta Falcons, I know they're not the top team in the NFL this year or anything, but they do something I think is kind of awesome. They let their players, if they want to, invite back former coaches to a franchise weekend called Thanks Coach. They're allowed to invite a high school coach or a college coach that they feel kind of pushed them up to where they are today, kind of living out their NFL dreams, and they write the coach a letter. And when these coaches come, I was able to read the letters online. They present them with the letter first thing. And these letters talked about coaches who pushed. They talked about sprints after practice. They talked about training for other sports with them. They talked about grit and accountability and toughness that these coaches expected, and not one of them said anything about how mean and awful that was. As a matter of fact, most of them is it like this one. Appreciate everything you've done, Coach. You were and still are a father to me. Father. Thanks, Coach, for being a great dad. Great coaches are like great fathers. And great fathers, they don't want to push you into that discomfort to hurt you. They want to push you in because they see something they want for your life. I got an email from my daughter's basketball coach a few weeks ago, and his own daughter is on the team. I'm guessing maybe he'd gotten some complaints about something, and here's a paragraph from the email that got sent out. I will never coach, push your daughter any different than I would my own. I will treat them as I would my own daughter. If they are consistently not in position or they do not know where they should be, then I will tell them, sometimes loudly, where and what they should be doing. We are about developing your girls so that they are ready for high school basketball. That's a great coach, and that's a great dad. He says, I will push. And yes, it might be uncomfortable, but I can see something in you. And I know something is there for your future that you can't even see yet. And I know how to get you there, and I would do it to my own kid. This is exactly what God is like. He is a good father. He has good things for you. He wants more for you. And he would never push you through something that he didn't require of his very own son. When Jesus was here on earth, he let his father push him through all kinds of pain and discomfort, humiliation, rejection, insults, pain, difficulty, right down to an excruciating death on a cross. And guess why he did it? He did it so you could have more. So you could have all the life, all the good that he intends for you right here, right now, today. And Jesus, he is not dead anymore. But if any more actors from Seinfeld die, then I am going to lose it.
And there it is, the random phrase.
When Jesus went to the cross, he earned the right to be your coach on the field. Guys, he sees what you could be. He knows what your life was designed for, and he can get you to more. Let Jesus push you to more.
Touchdown, Team Mingo! Yes. Allie, you were awarded 6 points for a great message. However, there were the yucky point penalties that we have to... sorry, 1 second.
Oh, it's the booth.
Yes. Understood. I'm so sorry. Well, that was the commish. They want me to overturn that call.
Wait, who's the commish?
That's what my wife makes me call her. So I'll give those 3 points back. You did get the random phrase in the nick of time. Your extra Bible trivia question is, the book of Exodus, chapter 20, tells the story of the nation of Israel receiving the 10 commandments from God. The question, how long was the 1956 movie 10 Commandments starring Charlton Heston? Answer within 30 minutes.
100 minutes.
So an hour and 40 minutes. That is incorrect. It was 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh.
It's a long one, I know. Resulting in an end of third quarter score, Team Mingo 18, Team Tome 7.
Woo!
That's the end of the third.
Strong quarter from Team Mingo. No shock there. Oh my goodness. Greg, are you okay? You're looking a little whiter than you normally look.
There's too many chocolate coins.
Everyone, remember, still brought to you by Hershey's. Well, while Greg is recovering, let's head back down to the field for our fourth quarter.
Brian, please choose your random phrase. Your random phrase is, the hardest part about marriage is the night farts.
Random as it comes right
That's
there.
great. I'm looking forward to this.
I don't think Brian will have any problem with that one.
Oh my. How many of us are wanting Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl today? And how many of us are? I gotta tell you, I'm utterly shocked that I find myself rooting for Tom Brady. Utterly shocked. His whole career, I've not liked him at all. I haven't liked how he's had multiple supermodel girlfriends. I don't like how he wears Uggs. No man should wear Uggs. I don't like how he deflates balls. I don't like just a bunch. And here I am yet, like, wow, I've totally switched over. Maybe it's because, you know, as I've aged, I'm amazed at a guy who's 43, at the top of his game, who no one in the history of football has ever been at the top of their game at 43. No one's ever done what he's done. It's utterly stunning. I find myself encouraged by that. I find myself encouraged that he seems to have become, all of a sudden, in this late stage of his career, an encourager. Maybe he always was, but the ominous evilness of Bill Belichick overwhelmed it. But he's known as encouraging people who are on his team. Jesus is an amazing coach. We know he's an amazing coach, partially because we know his name. He's the most well-known name in the history of the world, known in more corners of the globe than anybody else, bar none. On his downline came hospitals, right? It's hard to go to any town and find a Saint something hospital. They're all over the place. Orphanages, schools, because we wanted people to read and understand the Bible. Major compassion ministry. When Mother Teresa went into India, she was not understood by Indians who come from a whole religious system where there's karma. And they saw people who were in the streets who were sick, and they said they're getting their karma from the previous life. Why in the world would you help them out? No one was helping anybody out in India until somebody on Jesus' downline started coming in and helping people who were the down and trodden. And this is because Jesus has always coached you and I to get engaged with our world, to get engaged with our neighborhoods, to get engaged with our businesses. In the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 2, here's what happens. It says, the Lord appointed 72 others and sent them out ahead of him, 2 by 2, into every town and place where he himself was about to go. And he said to them, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out more laborers into his harvest. Jesus gives people a missional mindset. He says to them, come on, you can do this. You can do things you don't think you can do. Go on out and do just small things like heal people and cast out demons. Real simple. You can do this. Come on, go do it. He empowers people. That's what he is, a coach. He empowers them, and he empowers you and I. When COVID first came down, let's remember way back, February. Remember when we first started hearing the whole thing about COVID and quarantine? It was actually initially very attractive. Do you remember that? No, it really was.
It that way.
It really was. We were like, oh, cool, kind of like a snow day. Remember that? No, way back, like a week. We got to stay home. Darn. Well, then all of a sudden, it became really different. When it sunk into me like this is going to be intense, I felt Jesus empowering me. I went to my computer. I was having my time with God in the morning, and I went and I typed out an email to all my neighbors, the 25 closest homes, and I said, everybody said, hey, look, I don't know if you're prepared or not. I'm not a prepper, but I am prepared. If you run out of toilet paper, Lib and I have extra for you. If you run out of food, whatever food we have, we will share with you. If you need transport to a doctor or anything like that, we'll go and do that for you. Even just simple things. If you need like Doritos and pickles, simple things. We're here to help. Of course, Doritos and pickles lead to some nauseous gases, which is actually the hardest part of marriage is the night farts. Unless they're yours. They're amazing.
He capitalized on the setup. I liked it.
And it was a really, really cool time. I was empowered to reach out to my neighbors. I'm reading a book right now, or just about done with it. It's called The Founder's Mentality. It's a really, really great business book, but you can find truth in just about any book. And it talks about how when a founder starts a company or a business, he or she has an insurgent mentality. They see something that is wrong that they feel called to fix. They see that there isn't information shared, and so Google starts. They see that fast food is unhealthy and just not good, and so Truett Cathy starts Chick-fil-A. They just see something, and they say someone has to do something about this, and they have a level of insurgency. And then, because they've seen something new and meeting a new need, generally, there's people who want that, and then growth starts to happen. And then after growth starts to happen, systems start to come in. And then when systems come in, you have scale, and then you have more complexity, and you have matrix systems, and then you lead to bureaucracy, and people just wondering, what are we doing here? Who's responsible for that? No one really feels like they have their neck in the noose, I think, as the book says. And then the company goes into free fall. Jesus, his movement, if it's suffering at all, it's suffering because his movement has become a bureaucracy. It's been filled with denominations. It's been filled with budgets. It's been filled with churches. It's been filled with nonprofits. By the way, we're a nonprofit and we're a church. Nothing bad with that. Nothing bad with that. Nothing bad with having budgets. Nothing bad with having org systems and structure. Nothing bad at all. But just, man, it's a fine line between having all those systems versus having an insurgency that's about a revolution to bless the world. Do you feel like you're in a revolution? Do you feel that Jesus has come to you and he's empowering you to make a difference? You, not Crossroads, though we are, you. Sat down that morning and I could have tapped into the resources of Crossroads. I could have like, we have budget or we got a staff, think about my neighborhood. No, this isn't about the staff or the organization of Crossroads. It's about me, Brian Tome, the Son of God. Hearing from my coach saying, reach out into your neighborhood. How is Jesus empowering you? Do you see yourself as empowered by Jesus? That's what he does. That's why he said to us things like, greater things will you do. What did he mean by that? He meant greater things will you do, because I'm going to empower us as a collective team. The book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 17, after these people who've been empowered, after they start rolling back in, it says this, the 72 returned with joy, saying, Lord, even the demons are subject to us in your name. And he said to them, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Now, you've got to see Jesus as a coach to understand this, how he would say this. These people come back and like, what do you know? They were empowered, and things happened that they didn't see happening. And they are like, Lord, this is amazing. And Jesus says, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. How goodeth art thou? Wonderful. No, that's not how he said it. He said the way a coach would say. I tell you what, I saw Satan fall like freaking lightning. That's what I saw. I saw him fall like lightning, guys. Ladies, way to go. Awesome. He's encouraging them. He is looking for more people to encourage today. He's looking for more people to step out who are empowered today. He's looking for who wants to move. Jesus was a great coach because he empowers you to move. Move. Touchdown, Team Cole!
Brian, you were awarded 6 points for an excellent message and 3 points for an excellent, disgusting use of the random phrase. Your extra Bible trivia question is: the book of Daniel, chapter 1, tells us that Daniel and his 3 friends went on a 10-day diet of just vegetables and water. What is the most popular vegetable in the U.S.?
Wow. Most popular vegetable in the United States. I would say it is celery.
That is incorrect. It's the potato! Carbon it up, resulting in an end-of-game score. Team Mingo, 18. Team Tome, 16. Team Mingo is the winner!
Mingo pulling it out at the end.
Receiving the crowd.
Presentation of the Bible trophy. Good sportsmanship on the field.
And there's also a cash prize. It is my stimulus check. You guys can split it.
Right down the middle.
Thank you.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You won that fair and square. Hey, next week we're going to start with a new series called The Cure. We all recognize that there's things going on in our culture that are sickening and just not good. There actually is a cure, and there is a way to understand what's happening. We're going to talk about that next week. Let's go back right now to your studio hosts.
Hey, Oakley, before you get out of here, we want to give you a...
Well, congratulations to Team Mingo. Did everybody have a great time today? Come on. Amanda, what was your favorite commercial?
I have to go with the master class on being a pandemic parent.
Hey, guys, we're so glad that you were with us today. We want to remember social distancing. We hope to see you next weekend, 9:30 and 11:30, as we start the new series. So let's be safe exiting. And as we do so, let's give it up for our band who's going to see us out.
Here we go.
So put your best face on, everybody pretend you know this song. Everybody come in, let's go out with the bang. I'm way too young to lie here forever. I'm way too old to try, so whatever, come hang. Let's go out with the bang. Feel like I'm gonna puke, cause my taxes are due. The past would begin with a 1 or a 2. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to grow.
Here we go.
So put your best face on, everybody pretend you know this song. Everybody come hang, let's go out with the bang. I'm way too young to lie here forever. I'm way too old to try, so whatever, come hang, let's go out with the bang. So put your best face on, everybody pretend you know this song. Everybody come hang, let's go out with the bang.
Here we go.
I'm way too young to lie here forever. I'm way too old to try, so whatever, come hang, let's go out with the bang. So put your best face on, everybody pretend you know this song. Everybody come hang, let's go out with the bang.
Here we go.
I got a headache and a heartache, but it's summertime. I'm running circles trying to find another finish line. Plugging that power system, light up that optimism, even on my darkest days. I get knocked down, but I just keep my head up high, 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 oh, high, high, high. Stuck on the ground, but I just keep my head up high, 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 oh, high, high, high. Keeping my head up high. Keeping my head up, head up. Keeping my head up,
on my darkest days. I get